You said traditional SEO is completely fucked.
When you look at your Google Search Console now, you have your impressions going up over here, and then your clicks are going down this way. And that just means you're going to get less and less traffic, which means that the only organic play in town was Google SEO. Now it's Instagram, now it's YouTube, now it's Reddit, it's all these different things. If people want to win on SEO today, it's no longer just search engine optimization. We like to call it search everywhere optimization. If you're going to start to get into organic social, pick one channel, go all in on it, nail that one first, and then you can think about scaling it. You want organic reach, you got to think of yourself as how can you be the best employee to these channels, and then you will earn that reach.
Welcome back to Unfuck My Startup. Today's guest, he is one of, I believe, really one of the most renowned marketers here in the world today. You know him from the Marketing School podcast, which he co-hosts with Neil Patel. He's also the founder and CEO of Single Grain, which is really one of the most respected marketing agencies out there. I'm so thrilled to be joined today by Eric Siu. Eric, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Pete, and thanks everybody for joining. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, hey, we really appreciate being here. I know you joined the show last year. Things have changed a little bit. We rebranded to the crudely titled "Unfuck My Startup." That is a segment that we'll do in about halfway through the show. Okay, I wanted to. So I've seen some posts of yours recently. I know Single Grain is, you help with a lot of different channels, SEO being one of them. And I wanted to refrain from doing too much research because I really just wanted to have I wanted to hear straight from you. So you run Single Grain, as I had said, one of the biggest digital marketing agencies out there. You got a ton of different channels that you help businesses execute on. But 2 weeks ago on LinkedIn, and I'm using your words, not mine, you said traditional SEO is completely fucked. That is what you said. So can you tell us why that is to start?
Yeah. By the way, I started my background is in SEO, so I started my marketing career there. And for whatever reason, let me just kind of shed some context here. The SEO space, they're really, really, really bitter people. Like when you look at X, all they do is complain. Oh, Google made this change over here. This sucks over here. This sucks. This person did this person, like they cannot take any responsibility. And I don't know why that is. But we know definitively now the way that SEO is done, traditional SEO, we're talking about, you got to do a lot of content marketing. You got to do a lot of links. You got to do a lot of technical SEO. That is not necessarily fucked immediately, but it is on its way down. And you look at Warren Buffett over here, right? Like these guys like to talk about Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger. They like to talk about cigar butt businesses, right? And so you only have a couple puffs left. You might have a couple years left, 5-10 years of, website traffic, and it's just going to continue to go down because when you look at your Google Search Console now, you have your impressions going up over here, and then your clicks are going down this way. So it's like this open jaw over here, right? And that just means you're going to get less and less traffic, which means that, the way organic was done like 15 years ago, the only organic play in town was Google SEO. Now it's Instagram, now it's YouTube, now it's Reddit, it's all these different things. And so that's why I say traditional SEO is completely fucked, but SEO will never die completely as long as humans keep searching for things. So we just got to evolve. But traditional SEOs have always been resistant, and now is finally the time to change, or else you get to face the music.
So I'd love that. I have a couple of questions. One is, so I probably in the past 12 months stopped using, I guess I'll Google things, but I read the AI. I read the AI summary. And then if that doesn't answer my question, I just open up the Gemini or the ChatGPT app.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've heard that there are some agencies, and maybe as you said, that's because they're cigar butt businesses now, and they're trying to hold on, who are touting this, basically like AI SEO, right? Like being found through the source material within any of these large language models. I guess to start, what are your thoughts on that? Is that BS?
I think they're full of shit. And I say this as an SEO, right? And by the way, watch. Let me just show you something real quick. Let me toot my own horn for a second. I'm like,
yeah, please.
I wonder if I search what's the best marketing podcast on ChatGPT 03. Oh, Marketing School with Neil Patel and Eric Siu, right? And so it's
okay.
So, but I'm like, how did you do it, Eric? I have no idea, right? Like let me tell you what my thesis is, and let me tell you what's actionable here, right? Okay, so consistency and volume, 2,900 episodes, listed on all these things, and I'm like, but what factors led you to choose marketing school over here? Okay, proven depth, full funnel topics, hosts are active operators, blah blah blah, right? So my point of showing you this is not necessarily to brag; it's to say, okay, well, all these agencies that are saying, "Oh, I'm going to get you high up on these LLMs." You know what they're doing right now? They're basically gaming. It's black hat spamming that little thumbs up button, and they might get like 10,000 mechanical Turks or whatever to just hit that thumbs up button, and then all of a sudden you're ranking, maybe temporarily, right? But the problem with black hat SEO, and when I first started doing SEO, I tested black hat SEO. What I've learned from that is anytime you try to game the system, you might win for a little bit, but in the long term, you end up losing anyway. So you're better off playing long term games with long term people. And so in this scenario right now, if you want to win for the long term, any LLMO or any AIO, it's still traditional SEO. Like even all the research people are publishing, like Aerops and Ahrefs, they're publishing great research right now. But you want to rank on these? Oh, okay, great. The top chat GPT results, 95% of them are content that was updated in the last 12 months. Well, that's still traditional SEO. Well, you got to make sure your H1 titles are updated to rank in the AIOs, the AI overviews on Google. Oh, yeah, that's still traditional SEO, right? And so and then let me answer the question around why I think we got number one for this marketing school thing. It's because we have a lot of citations. So there's over 2,900 episodes. There's thousands of reviews on iTunes. We're consistent with it. And then if you crawl a little more and you look at who the hosts are, like we've been playing the marketing game for a while, and that's why we're consistent on this thing. But it's still not different than search engines where they are looking at links as a citation, or if you're a local business, name, address, phone number. All these things haven't changed, but I will say, and we can talk about this in a second, I think the game has evolved to this much bigger monster, which I'm happy to talk about. But I think right now, a lot of the LLMO stuff, the GEO stuff, is a bunch of baloney that will evolve, but it's still traditional SEO right now.
That's very interesting. And just so the audience can have some context, you mentioned the long game. I know you started Single Grain over a decade ago. When did you and Neil start the Marketing School podcast?
Yeah, so funny story. Single Grain is actually I took over Neil's cousin's agency. So I took over in 2014, and then we started marketing school. Oh my God, 8, 9 years. We're coming up on 9 years, I think. Yeah. So
We had Sam Parr on the show. So Sam Parr hosts the My First Million podcast and MoneyWise, and we asked him because there's a lot of. I mean, look, we're big in the media game here and looking to grow this show. Someone said let the dog.
yeah,
Oh, he's fine. Uh, but so, we asked Sam, we're like, when was the big inflection point? He was like, there was no inflection point. It was just a slow and steady incremental improvement over time. Is that what you and Neil have found too?
yeah. I mean, specific to brand, business, podcasts.
Yes.
I mean, the answer is it always takes at least 3 years to even get going. And then beyond that, you're constantly getting kicked in the balls every single day or getting kicked somewhere every single day. And like you have to be, in my mind, to play this game, you have to be some kind of a masochist. You have to enjoy pain. And like if you get used to it and you start to enjoy the taste of your own blood, that's kind of the saying, then you can play this game for a very long time. And it's just the price of entry. So that's what I would say it is. And then I would say Neil and I are very different people, but the good thing about both of us is that we've been willing to kill our egos every week, especially with this new world that we're in now, given with AI. He's generally more of a pessimist when it comes to this stuff. I'm a little more of an optimist. But when I look at his marketing, I look at both of our marketing started from blogging, started from SEO, but it's evolved into so much more today. And that's what it's going to take. I think if people want to win on SEO today, it's no longer just search engine optimization. We like to call it search everywhere optimization.
That includes all the social sites, Reddit. I mean, I think a lot of people too, when you're looking for information, just because I think maybe subconsciously we've all gotten a little used to there being a lot of fluffy content out there. I'll look for Reddit threads as like one of my most trusted sources because then I get, if it has 200 comments, well, some people might have different viewpoints, but at least I can see all the different viewpoints and assess where I fall on that spectrum, which
Yeah.
is really interesting.
I think Reddit's great. I think I will say recently I've been buying stuff randomly off of Twitter or X. Like I buy these like sourdough cookies now. I bought this new AI vacuum. I bought all these random things off of X. So X is kind of like my new Reddit. I don't know. I'm a little different now.
Yeah, no, I think that's the case for a lot of us. It's just like you cut through the noise, human to human. I think that's why all this, like, I mean, Ben just came up and pitched thought leadership, right? That's why that's so important. That's why,
Mhm.
we're heavy on that. I want to circle back to SEO in just a second, but I'm
Look at that
curious.
comment.
Sorry.
Look at the latest comment. But anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Um, so I'm curious. So we started this show last year. It sort of evolved. It used to be co-hosted by Santosh, who was our former COO, who left and started his own thing. Um, we look at, I mean, right now, I guess we got a few hundred viewers. We'll probably hit plus 500 live over, so basically we define that as success, because like we really had no expectations. Were there expectations when you guys started marketing school? I know Neil's been a very known figure in the game for a long time.
Yeah,
So
we didn't really have any expectations. And I'll just tell you, when we first started, we would record in his he had a place in Vegas, and the AC was too loud. So we turn off the AC in the middle of the summer, and it quickly went up. It was like 115 outside. So it got really hot as we recorded. And we shared this microphone, this cheap microphone in the middle of us, and we just recorded. And thankfully it started to move in the first month or two. And we didn't monetize that podcast for the first 2 years or so. And I think about, even if I rewind a second, the first podcast, Leveling Up, I the first year I was only getting 9 downloads a day, and then the second year I was only getting 30 downloads a day. So, and I think Sam's talked about this. It is a thankless job to build on SEO. It's also a thankless job to build on the podcasting side. Both of those have been the hardest distribution channels. But I will say that the return on investment from a relationship standpoint on both of those has been astronomical.
yeah, I know it's so interesting about the this is something that gets talked about too. I know by the RB2B executive team, is like starting these new brand. You can call them. I guess they all fall under this sort of brand marketing, or personal marketing, or excuse me, thought leadership, founder led, founder brand stuff. And it's like, it looks like it's a terrible waste of time until it looks like it's the best thing in the world. It look like, and I think Adam's been posting on LinkedIn, I know, for, over half a decade now. And, unsuccessful in the beginning, as we all have been, and then all of a sudden wild success that made, that helped our B2B grow from 0 to 5 million in 12 months. So
Yeah.
it's
You know,
just,
one thing I can share on that that's maybe helpful for everyone is whatever channel that you're focused on. So when I think about my YouTube channel a couple years ago, maybe 5 years ago, whatever I posted would start to get, 50,000 views, 100,000, 2, 3, 400,000 views or so. And then after that, I stopped posting for a little bit. Then I started talking more about crypto stuff, and then I stopped posting again, and I started talking about other stuff. My views went down, and so like now my YouTube channel is coming back because I'm focused more on AI and marketing, and that's just what I'm obsessed about right now. And the way I look at this, and my friend explained this, he gets millions of views a month. He's like, Eric, YouTube looks at you as an employee. Are you a good employee or not? Like, are you consistent? Are you going to talk about the same thing? Are you reliable? And I look at LinkedIn as the same thing. Like, Adam has been reliable for the past 6 years or so. And that's why his views continue to compound. Some people wonder, like, why don't I get that many views or likes anymore? And by the way, I used to get a ton of likes and views. I'm just not that consistent with LinkedIn anymore. But my point of this is, like, you want organic reach. You got to think of yourself as, how can you be the best employee to these channels? And then you will earn that reach.
I've never thought of it that way, but that is entirely true. And the algorithm favor, as you said, it wants all of those things. It wants to know that it's not going to deliver all of a sudden this massive spam reach and cloud its own system. And that's all they're trying to do, is deliver value to their own users. And that's how they do it. Okay. I'd love to circle back quickly on SEO. So we mentioned where the AI SEO is basically nonsense right now, and people grasping at straws. Is traditional SEO still a good option for anyone right now? There's a certain pocket of businesses maybe that Single Grain works with, that you still think, you see this collection of variables and you say, yes, you are kind of a prime candidate for this channel, even though it's evolving and changing.
Yeah, so this is what Warren Buffett said too. When you have a cigar butt business, your job is to maximize the cash flows of that business, and not sell it. You like write it to the ground, right? And that's how I look at SEO too. It's if there's enough demand for search for whatever product or service that you have, it works. And I actually have this little thing I have pulled up over here. So y'all can see this, yes? I'll make it
Yes.
a
By
little
the way,
bigger.
this the audio, we love screen shares, so this is great.
Great. So like this graph over here, like you can see, okay, I said it's search everywhere optimization. So, communities are taking off, like Reddit, for example, core is taking off, right? And then you got to optimize if your audience is hanging out on YouTube, optimize there, Amazon there, you got to optimize there. But my point of showing you this right now is we rank for, and this is just agency keywords for single grain, about 3,300 keywords. So e-commerce agency, programmatic advertising agency, programmatic ad agency, and usually these are within like the top 15 or so. Um, and when you think about services, when you think about consulting, or when you think about management, all those types of keywords, there's already demand for those. And so when you think of bottom of the funnel, especially long tail, high intent keywords, those are the types of keywords that are still worth going for right now, because those aren't as competitive. And so an example might be how to integrate NetSuite with Salesforce. That is something worth going for because someone searching for that is pretty savvy if they know if they're trying to integrate NetSuite with Salesforce, right? And so that means you can pull up an LLM now. You can pull up ChatGPT o3 to do the research for you. Manus is a nice super agent. You can use GenSpark as well. But these will give you the long tail high intent keywords. And then the cool thing about like a Manus is it will actually look at your blog for your writer guidelines, figure out what it is, and then it'll crank out like 21 high intent blog posts within 30 minutes that are maybe 90% there in terms of production grade. And then you can have a human in the loop fix it, right? But that's how you might still succeed in today's day and age of SEO without trying to burn a hole in your wallet.
That's great advice. Also, I think if somebody is actually, this is probably a good time to call up somebody for the unfuck my startup section, because I think my question relates heavily to that. So I know a lot of businesses will find success and traction. And by the way, this audience, there's a lot of early stage founders. We have a lot of growth and marketing people and some sales folks that are in here as well. But especially in that early stage, I think we've all seen where like, you'll have this one channel that really just dominates your demand gen. And it's great because it gets you traction and gets you revenue and it extends your runway and all that stuff. But um, I'm curious for folks who are like, is there anybody, I guess, in the audience that's heavily reliant on traffic from SEO? Audience, I'm talking to you, and is either concerned, seeing their results go down. I'm curious about that, and sort of if we can give maybe a pivot advice. So, audience, is there anybody here who is still getting most of their traffic and demand and filling their pipeline from SEO? You can raise your hand. You can drop a yes into the chat, audience. We got Kumar, Takara. Okay. Would either of you two or most of my clients? Yes. Okay. Okay. Great. Is anybody, and we'd prefer camera on, is anybody, would anybody like to come up and chat about that dilemma they're in, who's trying to explore sort of the next bout of their demand gen?
Well,
Just raise your hand. Go ahead and just raise
Jonas
your hand.
is the most detailed there. I like that.
Yeah, that is. Yes. 95 is inbound. Probably 75% of that is from SEO. Yeah. Just do a hand raise if you're willing to come up and let's chat about this because I think chatting about these situations actually with the person experiencing it is all the best. So there we go. We have Takara. How you doing? It's great to meet you. Of
Hi. Hey, thanks for meeting me.
course.
I've really enjoyed participating in viewing these sessions. So, I am the marketing manager at a company called Boon. We are in the HR tech space for talent acquisition. It is a referral and rewards platform. So we plug in with whatever tech stack the talent acquisition team already has. We're integrate with other HRISs or ATSs and manage the whole referral promotion. So like marketing the opening positions to your employees and referral networks and tracking those referrals and reward distribution. So right now, our organic traffic in Google is our main that and outbound. So for inbound leads, inbound marketing, that is my main effective channel currently. That is somewhat based on budget restrictions for how much I can have running right now, but that is what we've been seeing effectively. And we have a really robust blog content section. And so that's what's been kind of carrying us. So yeah, if that's not going to be working for long, I guess it would be a good time to get some recommendations on adapting.
Is that has that decrease started? Have you seen the traffic go down and your inquiries go down?
Yes, and the conversions are definitely going down. We're still having, yeah, and we're having less overall traffic through search. And I'm not seeing we do get some AI referrals. So I am seeing some of that, but not a significant amount yet. So
What do
if we
people
had a
search for
place better there would be better.
what do people search for when they're looking for your product?
Employee referral programs, yeah, referral tools,
Yeah.
incentivizing employee referrals, and
Yeah.
um,
I think this would crush it for you. Like what I just mentioned with that Manus workflow, or like and this might give you another idea too. So I'm going to share a screen. This might toot my horn a little bit, but you know, at single grain, so we have this product called ClickFlow where we'll give 25,000 words away for free, and it'll do like internal linking. They'll do like a lot of the thankless SEO work, right? Like updating, deleting, consolidating content. And so we're like, okay, what's a cool offer we can give away for free? 25,000 words for free. That sounds pretty good because a lot of agencies might charge 5-10 grand for that. But on the other side, we also have Carrot too, right? So Carrot is like LinkedIn account-based marketing software, personalized ads, blah, blah, blah. But my point is it Takara?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
you guys all are pronouncing my name
Perfect.
correctly.
Okay.
With your
So
earlier-
Takara, it's like what parts of your software can you splinter off and give away for free? Because these are linkable assets that can drive a lot of links, which improves your domain authority. And again, like it's not like SEO is going to die tomorrow, or website traffic will. But then what I mentioned earlier, finding those high intent long tail keywords on employee referrals, like there's a lot more you can search with. Like people have so many different permutations there. How many words of new content are you producing per month right now, you think?
Mm, somewhere between like 1,500 and 5,000.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you gotta jack that up. And so like,
Okay.
and you might not know this answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Do you know what the domain authority of your website is right now? Like 1 through 100 or domain rating? You can also say, I don't know. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I've been working on it. I think it's around I think it was in the 80s when I was looking at it, or I'm thinking of like page speed stuff too.
What's the URL, Takara?
It's goboon.co.
Okay. So I'm gonna look at it right now. Goboon.co. I'm using a shout out to Ahrefs. I'm using Ahrefs for
Okay,
this.
thank
Okay.
you.
So yeah, your I don't know how competitive your space is, but the domain rating is not that strong, 41, right? But if everyone's at 40 or so, that means you can compete and whatever you publish is going to rank. And so I do think you're in a unique spot right now. If you do use like a ClickFlow or a Manus or a GenSpark, you can use one of those super agents to say, okay, I'm trying to rank for keywords like this and like how to integrate NetSuite with Salesforce. Can you give me like 30 different examples or 50 different examples? Okay, now I would like you to also scan my blog and then come up with blog posts based on the keywords that you gave me, and then show me the first two to make sure that we're on the right track. Boom, it's gonna spit it out. Literally, I saw Manus do it for me once. 21 blog posts that were like 2,000 words each, and it took about 30 minutes to do so. And we probably published like 75% of those after editing them. And so that means for you, your output can be way higher now. And I think anybody that's only doing 1,500 to 5,000 words, I don't think you're milking it enough. I don't think, I think you don't want to overdo it because then you might get filtered by Google or you might get like, in trouble. But as long as you feel like it's value added content and a human in the loop is verifying that it's value added content, you can compound on this still.
Okay. What was it you said about giving away parts of our product for free?
Yeah. So what I just showed earlier. So, for example, let's see. So this is one of the features that we have within ClickFlow. Like we're just saying, oh, we'll give you 25,000 words for free. So our whole thing is we're going to create production grade content for you, right? So I'm sure with GoBoon, you might have different features. Maybe even have calculators or tools that you can give away. And then those will drive links. But the thing is, everybody's building tools now because everyone can vibe code them using like Replit or something.
Right.
And so we try to go a little higher than that. We're like, okay, well, with Carrot, can we give away this analytics portion over here that shows how your LinkedIn ads are performing? While we probably gate this other stuff like these personalized landing pages and things like that. But I think you need to think about Takara. what are some of what's like a unique feature that you think you can maybe give away for free or charge just a minimal amount for, just to get more people in the door?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. And just for the audience, so you had mentioned kind of Takara's I guess published word count being a little low. What do you look for, Eric? What's sort of a modern benchmark there?
I mean, I think it depends on the niche, but if everyone's going like, we'll say hypothetically 1 million words or so, and it's okay, like it's like recipes or health, something like that, you can afford to do that, especially if your site's established. So, and I think, Takara, if nobody's really going hard in your space right now, I think 1,500 to 5,000 seems a little light. And it's not like these algorithms don't know that people are now producing more AI assisted content. They do know. And Google's guidelines have adjusted where they say, as long as it's valuable to humans, like we're good with it. I think the other thing that you might want to consider too is, when you're publishing things, if you want more dwell time on your websites, maybe and maybe you have a YouTube strategy as well. Maybe you're integrating certain videos to increase the dwell time, and then maybe you're thinking about a site-wide offer that will drive more email signups, and then maybe you can market to those people later, right? But I think, to my point earlier, if I were to go up a little higher, it's a higher level. It's how do you approach this from a search everywhere optimization standpoint? Because if you just approach it from a website traffic standpoint, we're talking about unfucking your startup. So like we're all fucked if you just focus on website traffic.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm feeling. So
Yeah.
thank you for acknowledging that. Yeah. Had to be here. Thank you so much.
Of course, Tara. I'll send you an email after. We'll send you a swag box. Thank you so much for coming up, sharing your struggles and successes, and yeah,
Thanks.
onwards.
I did see a few people say demo in the chat, so let me know.
Yeah, drop in your calendar link if anyone wants to try out Boon.
You got it.
All right, thank you so much. And then I know there was some chat about AI tools down here. Eric, what's your favorite vibe coding tool?
My what?
Your
My
favorite
vibe coding tool?
vibe coding tool.
Probably Replit because it's so easy, but our engineers internally, they use a lot of Cursor and Claude Code. But for me, it's Replit as a simpleton marketer. So
Yeah, I'm a simpleton coder.
what do you use?
And I use V0.
Yeah, I love V0 too.
Yeah, it's been I think maybe I'm still stuck on it just because it was one of it was better at that than Gemini was before, whatever. But V0 is great, and then I can host my pages on Versal. And again, I'm a very rudimentary developer, so it's a really incredible tool. I love that.
V0, I like it for mockups. I like it for like landing pages and like things like that.
Definitely. That's really, I have started to use it for app building, which has been really, really incredible. But folks, if you have your like content marketing and you want to make it look better than just a normal web page, man, some of these AI tools will just spiff it up, make it look really interactive. It'll come up with its own interactive tools. So check all of that out. Someone said A0.dev is a new entrant. You've got to be kidding me. V0 and A0. This is only going to get more confusing. Okay, let's get back to it. Thank you to Ben and Takara for coming up today. We'll send you an email afterwards. And okay, so you run Single Grain now. As you said, you started in SEO. I think that was a huge sort of component of Single Grain, and of course, you do help out with other channels and strategies. I guess broadly, I'll ask: is there a certain route or certain collection of tactics that some of the most successful clients at Single Grain are using? And let's try to omit some of the super enterprise people because that's just not our audience. But for the masses, let's say.
Yeah, I think, you know what? Maybe I'll just use like what we're doing right now because it's
That's great.
We're trying to create this B2B operating system. Just however we're doing marketing, how do we just productize it? Because I believe the future of SaaS is going to be one-click marketing, right? It's just, okay, you found all these insights. Okay, here are the suggestions, and then it's just you click a button like, can you just do it for me? And then humans are inherently lazy, right? So I think that's where a lot of this stuff is going. But what works for us right now? So I think again, website traffic is dying doesn't mean it's dead. So we still do traditional SEO because there's a lot of demand, especially when it comes to agency services. We do try to give away products or splinter off different features and give them away for free. So you can call that a form of PLG, or just a higher level lead magnet. We certainly do that. Pete, I mean, the fact that you guys have so much success with webinars, like webinars crush it. Podcasts do really well for us, but it takes forever to compound, right? So if you're, maybe you don't have a podcast yet, but maybe you have a lot to say and you have a lot of interesting data, maybe go on a podcast tour, go on a webinar tour, and then siphon off someone else's audience. That always works well. I think for me, let me just screen share here just to show you guys some results, because we all like to see that. So I'm very bullish on YouTube for the next decade or so. So this is my channel, and then last 28 days or so, about 500,000 views, which is not bad. And the cool thing is they're becoming more relevant views, right? So I'm just focusing more on AI, and I used to, like, maybe a year ago, I might get like 700 views a video or so. So it's ramping up again, and some of these videos might drive up to, like, I don't know, this Manus one over here has 159,000 views or so, and 27,000 here. So these actually drive leads for Carrot. They drive leads for the agency. And it's positioning me in a good way, because it's like, yeah, we do tech-enabled services around marketing, but we also have a big AI focus too. So I think people like to say, oh, it's I don't have time for YouTube, whatever. But in my mind, this whole organic reach thing, like, who knows how much longer it lasts for. I would say that if you're going to start to get into organic social, pick one channel, go all in on it, nail that one first, and then you can think about scaling it. But so that's what's working right now. Like, you're sure, like X and LinkedIn. But if I were to start from scratch, just to make this for everybody, I would just focus on marketing one-on-one is where are your people hanging out? Like, maybe they might be hanging out on Reddit. Maybe they might be hanging out on X. I don't know what it is exactly. But you're focused on one channel first, but that's not that actionable, right? Like, if I had to pick, if I were starting from scratch today, Eric Sue, if I were starting from scratch, Mr. Beast likes to call this overpowered, right? He says it's very OP. Podcasts today are still very OP. Why are they OP? Well, because if you can take, let's say you and I, Pete, we record a podcast, maybe, I'm interviewing you, right? I can publish that to YouTube. I can publish the 90-minute conversation to YouTube. That's one channel, okay? I can chop it up using a product like Overlap, or you can use Opus. There's a handful of tools you can use, or you can even use N8N, build your own workflow, whatever, right? Take the long form, chop it up into short form pieces, and then now you can use GenSpark and then take that video and it'll republish, it'll create a version for you for X, for LinkedIn, that is actually good. And I found this out yesterday. That this whole time I've been trying to find something that can publish X and LinkedIn content at a very high level. I haven't found it until yesterday. Literally, if you go to genspark.ai, take whatever video you have, whatever, you can take that one pillar piece and make it into a bunch. And then you just continue to get better over time, and your distribution should continue to grow, right? That's how I think it can get true leverage. And yeah, just want to make it a little actionable.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, it's right. It's like, especially these days when you can just chop up much easier. By the way, I want to shout out Krishna in the chat for just dropping all these tools and having magical timing as you're talking, Eric. But yeah, it's all the repurposing that you can do. We're starting to do more of that with this show, because it's like, well, we get, an hour of content in one chunk, but these are all clips that can be distributed on LinkedIn, YouTube. We're gonna start getting into X a little bit. So someone says, well, GenSpark uses DeepSeek, I think. Interesting. But I'll drop genspark.ai right into the chat here so people know. And also, I think you just nailed a really good foundational point of, like, where are people hanging out? Where is the wind at your back? Right? Like, don't go into X if you're not completely confident that your audience is there and you know how to reach them. I think if your audience is on LinkedIn, LinkedIn's a very magical place where you can send, a couple dozen connection requests a day and literally curate your own audience, your own, list of followers specific to what you want. Whereas, Instagram, I guess you could follow people and hope they follow you back, but it's not that same sort of level of customized audience building, which is a really magical thing. I think a lot of people here are in B2B. A lot of people deal in the marketing world. If you're looking for marketing and B2B marketing and salespeople, you don't have to look much further than LinkedIn, in my opinion. Maybe you're in another niche, but that's great. So I want to turn a little bit and talk about sort of high volume versus more high intent. Um, the game of marketing, specifically digital marketing, I think for the decade of the past, the 2010s, was a lot of high volume. I didn't really hear about ABM, which for folks listening, account-based marketing, basically the opposite of spray and pray, right? Going really deep into a small subset of clients that or could find value in your product. I'm curious where all of that sort of high intent versus high volume spectrum plays. Of course, both of those strategies fit with different companies depending on your variables, but we'd love to hear your take on that.
Yeah. So I will say, and maybe I can probably share some results here because I think my CTO shared some results on the ABM side, and I'm just gonna dig it up real quick. But
Please.
I do think when you think about ABM, people like to talk about one-to-one. There's one-to-many. There's things like that, right? And when I think about the results people are getting from Carrot, which is our personalized LinkedIn account-based marketing software. So basically it creates personalized ads for you at scale, right? And I will tell you that the engagement rates are on these LinkedIn ads are at least double, if not triple. And I do know like some people might spend like $1,000, $2,000 or so on these personalized LinkedIn ads, and they'll drive like 500 grand in additional pipeline or $1 million or more. And we are seeing deals actually close from this. And these are fairly simple things. And I'll just share this with you guys. And I'm sure there's other tools that can do this. But literally it just looks like this. It's like, hey, our B2B, we targeted 15 companies, 6 reached out, 2 closed in less than 2 weeks. It's how do you like, we've seen in the numbers again, double, triple the engagement rates, but also double the conversion rates too. And I think we're going to continue to move into this world of personalization. I think when I look at our B2B, for example, I think you guys do an incredible job of revealing who's visiting your website. But also it's like, and I'm sure you guys are building this already, like what is the next step, right? And what I mentioned earlier, I think we're going to move into this future of one-click marketing where, okay, you revealed it, but now like, can you help me draft an email to send to these people? Can you draft an email and can you just do it for me? I think everything's going to move in that direction. Because Pete, like we're talking about vibe coding. When people use Cursor now, it's just writing the code for them, right? And it like one of our developers yesterday started using Cursor with Claude Code, and they're like, I have 10 versions of me now helping me, right? That's what's going to happen with marketing too. Like people are asking about, they want, hey, what's Cursor for slide decks? What's Cursor for marketing? I think if marketers can start to think about when you build products or salespeople, how do you build Cursor for sales, Cursor for marketing? And that's what we're trying to do with the products that we have. And I'm sure you guys are doing the same thing. So I in my mind, account-based marketing is B2B marketing.
That is a really great take. And I'm with you too. Like it's just so interesting. I mean, I think all of this, click a button and it's done for you. I mean, to the very literal sense is still fairly new. I think do you use Fixer? I feel like we promote the hell out of these guys.
What is Fixer? I've heard of it, I think.
Yeah, so I think it's Fixer.ai. So it's basically this tool that's in your inbox. It categorizes all your emails and it writes drafts. Yeah, and actually with the recent update, the drafts are really, really incredible. And now I'm like, well, I would never run a business email, inbox without that tool because I don't want to have to go back to doing all that work. And it's one of those things that's like, I think my subscription had expired, or like I got a new business card or whatever it was, and my email didn't have it anymore. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is painful actually going through this. And it's that old adage, problem solved or quickly forgotten. I literally forgot how like the impact that it had because I so quickly got used to it. And yeah, you're entirely right. Now I'm kind of used to not needing a front end developer. Back-end developers, all developers are still needed. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like to need to do very simple mock-ups for landing pages or proof of concept for apps. I just don't need them yet. Now I can go to them with a much more complete idea and reference points. And it's just it's a completely different world. So I like that. ABM is just, I think there's a book. I think it's the Terminus guy wrote. It's like ABM is B2B or something like that.
Yeah.
It's the name of the book. It's got to be on that shelf behind you. You got every book back there.
Yeah.
But we're nearing, so we have 12 minutes left. So folks, feel free to start dropping. I mean, Eric and I will continue chatting. Feel free to start dropping questions into the chat here, because I mean, what a treat to have Eric here today, and I want to make sure everyone gets their questions answered. So we'll let that tee up. I'm curious too, are there other like, cold ads or cold outreach? I mean, are there other channels that, like, when someone comes to Single Grain, you're like, well, we're definitely going to at least start you on this channel. This is a no-brainer.
I will say, maybe I'm answering your question indirectly here. I will say I'm seeing these are the trends that I'm seeing. There are more and more people asking for help with Reddit marketing, and you saw that graph earlier, like that's going up. There are more and more people asking for YouTube, so that's where I mentioned YouTube is the biggest opportunity I think in the next decade for social. And then they're like Michelin just reached out to us recently, and they want help with building agentic workflows. And I'm getting a lot more of that. Like I've been talking more about agentic workflows, like, oh, it's no different than like a Zapier workflow or like an end-to-end workflow, but more and more people are looking for this. And I think if you're maybe in services, I think a handful of you are in services, how do you just find a way to Trojan horse your way into these bigger companies, right? It could be like, it used to be SEO for us. It kind of still is SEO, but more and more people are coming through the AI angle. Some people are coming through the carrot angle too. And then you can figure out how to, cross sell and upsell different things. And so that's what we're seeing in terms of trends. Now, to answer your question, what do we typically recommend for people? I think it just depends on the business. But I would say that, from a B2B angle, if I'm starting from scratch today, let's say I'm starting with Carrot, we actually have closed a lot of deals through just pure outbound. And I'm sure you've had people better than me talking about this on the pod. It's like, oh yeah, we use Clay, and then we use Smart Lead, and then we just warm up a bunch of different emails, and then we hit, like, that's exactly what we do, and it works. So sometimes it's just like, hey, it's simple, it works. Why don't we just double down or triple down on? I think the problem sometimes when you listen to like someone like myself or like a Pete or whatever is you get tactic overload and you try to do everything at once. But just keep in mind, when Pete started or when I started, we started with one thing. And it's you don't want to compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 25. I think it's just lock in, focus on what works. If oh shit, it works, double down, triple down, quadruple down. The problem is most people are like, oh, it works, and now I'm going to try to diversify to 5 different things, and that's when you get subpar results.
I think diversification for the sake of diversification is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. It's like, well, this is working now, and really what you're doing is you're decreasing the amount of budget, monetary budget you can put towards that channel that's working. You start to divide up your focus towards that specific channel. And realistically, if something started to work, you probably haven't explored and fully leveraged what that channel has to offer. So I'm all about tripling down on what's working, as I know you are too, Eric. Let's get to some of these questions. There's quite a bit coming in. I'm just going to start at the top. How does word count impact your ranking? Sounds like an SEO question there.
Yeah, I don't really think it does. So I mean, if you're an algorithm, like, you're just looking for signals. Like, is this website legit? Does this seem like it's valuable to humans? Is the bounce rate high? You're just looking at a bunch of signals. I can just say that Mukund, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, when I first started doing SEO, I was like, oh yeah, I got to focus on the keyword count. I got to focus on the ranking. I got to you start to get lost in these metrics for metrics' sake. When the real thing you should be focusing on is, has this actually delivered value?
And I think that is going to go right into our next question. That's going to be a similar answer, Eric. Someone said, mate says, what's the best practice for ads on LinkedIn for B2B SaaS that drives traffic to a book a demo page? My personal take is a really valuable message and a really valuable call to action, an irresistible call to action, let's say.
Yeah, a very good offer, a very good creative, and then if you can personalize it using carrot.ai or something else, do that. So just whatever you can to stand out. Like, all you have to do to go the extra mile is just go the extra mile. It's not that far.
Yeah, and just make sure you're incredibly freaking clear with your messaging. Yeah, that's the biggest mistake people make. Sometimes it's not a tactic thing. It's literally it's how you're articulating your solution to the audience and who you're articulating it to. Ryan says, how long until one-click marketing? I'm just a sales guy. I can't keep up with all the tools. I feel that. how long until what, like, you mean just hit a button and then boom, you have a well-articulated message, landing pages, funnel. I don't know if we can answer that, but it's an interesting thing to hypothesize.
My guess is probably a year or two. Yeah.
Okay. Jeez. Okay. Man, I hope I'm still around. I don't mean alive. I just mean professionally. What are some niches one can consult or do an agency model in the AI marketing space, since it's a huge umbrella? How do you pick a niche? What drives it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a.
Yeah, I mean, we had someone that just left us recently, and he still works with us, and he actually just focuses on building agentic workflows for people, and he's doing great. And I actually refer business to him, and I'm, I'm proud of him for doing that. I think that's a huge gap right now. And the thing is, Krishna, you don't want to say, hey, we're going to do these agentic workflows for you, because if you're like a mom and pop, like 70, 80 years old, like you don't know what that means. Instead, you want to focus on what kind of outcomes are you going to drive? Oh, you pay for 6 salespeople. Guess what? This can do the work of your 6 salespeople and cost you, I don't know, a fifth of the cost. Would you be down to try it? And that is a lot more appealing, because you're not only saving the money, but maybe you're driving more output from a sales standpoint, and people would pay for those outputs.
That's killer. Another wind at the back. What does everybody want right now? Type of situation. And I think to Ryan, it's like, oh, just get closer to one-click marketing. That's what we're all getting used to. Okay. What about bringing in a technical side, personal customer-based startup? Where do I start from zero? Oh man, I think that's a very loaded question.
Yeah, you're gonna have to refine that question.
Yeah.
Refine that prompt.
Yeah. So it says, Eric, what KPIs do you track with your marketing motion? What are the most important things you're looking at? Let's say you're running a few different channels for a customer at Single Grain.
I mean, SaaS, obviously we're looking at, we want to look at MRR. We want to look at, I mean, we're not responsible for like net revenue retention or churn and things like that, but MRR would be, I mean, cost per acquisition certainly matters a lot, whether it's ROAS for e-commerce or, looking at CAC for SaaS. Those are probably the two major things, because we're, at the end of the day, we help people with marketing. And then if we're talking about Carrot, for example, I mean, that's a different story. Like internally, I can tell you that we are looking at week over week, just product engagement, and we want that to be above 40%, because we want people to be using the thing. So
well, that you don't want to just get people to the tool and then have them use it. That's spot on. McCunn says, for my company, my domain authority is 19, while my competitors rank with a domain authority of 40. How much word count should we aim for monthly? Currently, we publish 30 blogs a month and acquire 12 backlinks.
Yeah, so McCunn asked that question earlier. I would say, McCunn, I think you're going to have to adjust your philosophy. I'm going to give you a higher level answer. Don't focus on word count and things like that. Yeah, sure, you can look at your competitors and look at what they're doing, but also look at the one who's getting the best results. Are they genuinely driving the most value? And what can you do to beat that? How can you 10x what they're doing already? And it's going to take more work. I mean, that's what work is. I would encourage you not to think about, oh, it's just a word count thing, right? Because then you're going to get trapped into this, obsessing over this metric. You're going to spend 6 to 12 months on it, and then you realize you just wasted 6 to 12 months of your life obsessing over the wrong thing.
That is huge. I mean, I think most startups, there's a lot of reasons most startups fail. One of the biggest reasons is they spend like 80% of their time on like just wasted calories, just empty calories, stuff that's not actually going to make an impact. And I know it's tough too when you're in that ocean of abstract ideas and possibilities to want to execute on all those things. But I mean, days are not that long, years are not that long. You need to be ruthless with not burning calories on useless things. Especially, man, like the most heartbreaking things are like features that get 80% built and then the team scraps them. It's like, oh, so like literally nothing came from that. Happens all the time.
Everything's resource allocation.
Guys, tattoo that on your hands. That is 100% it. Charles just added a comment from something we were talking about earlier, an offer they can't refuse. I mean, that is another like I know that's an old movie quote, but like that is literally what you want. There's a good book I think it's called The Irresistible Offer. It has like this very cartoony cover, but covers that really well. Okay. And one of the so someone saw one of your podcasts, either Leveling Up or Marketing School. Oh no, I lost it. Okay. Oh no, what is happening? Okay, you said long tail queries will thrive as an AI first SCRP. Which content moats will survive once every competitor can spin up 10,000 posts with the same LLM?
You know, this is interesting because for whatever reason, this triggered this memory around Jamie Dimon, where people are asking him about remote work, and he's like, and they're like, "Oh my God, Jamie, you're forcing everyone to come back into the office. Morale is low or whatever." And he's like, "You know what? Like, it's not that I'm not a fan of remote work." He's like, "I'm just not a fan of remote work that doesn't work." And I think it's the same thing when it comes to content, for example. Like content that doesn't work because it sucks. And I think if people are focusing on word count and things like that, the content's just not good enough. Now, what is a good piece of content? Well, if our B2B gives away a free version, which I think you guys might have, right? Like that is a good offer, right? And that is good content. Fundamentally, that is good content. Or if our B2B reveals all this data that they have on how people are buying today and how behaviors have changed, that is good content. But if you're just publishing what everyone else is publishing and you're just using Manage to spin up like something that's surface level and you're not going second or third order or fourth level, more deeper, your content's going to be subpar. And so oftentimes it's just a matter of spending more time with it. And I mean, again, when you look at these two guys over here, they just spend a lot of time reading. They spend a lot more time thinking about the problems, and that's why they end up making better decisions than most people. And Warren himself has said that he just needs to make one good decision a year. And obviously, when you have that that much under management, that's a different story. Like us, maybe we can make more than one decision. But that's what I would say. I think it's content there's going to be more and more AI slop. There's going to be a proliferation of crap. And so that forces everyone to raise the bar even higher. It's no different, by the way. My YouTube 5 years ago, oh my God, whatever I publish, gold, 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 because nobody was doing it, right? Now YouTube's way harder now. Now I got to think about the headline. I got to think about the outline. I got to think about the hook. I got to think about the 30-second retention. I got to think about all this shit that I don't want to think about, right? It's because the bar has gotten higher.
And it's more formulated. Other people have learned that formula. It's just it's spot on. I think this remembering the quality of the offer, the value of the product, and just making that as amazing as possible, and you'll be just blown away at how many channels, how many things start to fall into place. I mean, with our B2B, when we launched, we were the first ones to do B2B website resolution, and just the wind was at our backs with a lot of this stuff. It was like, well, who doesn't want to know who's on their website? They're trying to sell to these people. So the more you can look at that, and I think all the tools that Eric shared are perfect examples of that too. Eric, this was, I mean, an incredible show. Thank you so much. You provided so much value to myself, to the audience here. We hope you'll come back in the future as this show continues to grow. Folks, the recording will be live on YouTube shortly after this, so hop over to YouTube. Next week, Adam will be back as well, co-hosting with me, and we have Amir Atley, the CRO of Hockey Stack. So Hockey Stack has just crushed growth, and we're going to talk to the guy behind it. It's going to be a great show. I hope you will all come back next week. And until then, Eric, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.